Let's dive into the world of tabletop gaming and painting with the Tippy cast. From rolling dice to mastering brushstrokes, we're here to fuel your passion. Join us for insights, inspiration, and endless creativity. I'm Chris.
And I'm Daz. So, Chris, what's on the table today?
I've been painting a bunch of skeletons, which is always fun. I wanted to get a bunch of bones on some models painted. So I've got Mike Lavicle and the Skeleton Crowd model. They're done. And I've got a couple of skeletons with instruments that are nearly done. I was just having a little paint of them before we started recording. Just like a few highlights and some rope to paint on them. And the skeletons of the Eternal Legion for half tilt. So
Nice.
there's the skeleton horse for the count, and there's the three skeletons with the spectral horses. I've been doing them as well, and depending on different colours I've been using on the other models. I've been doing a little bit of work on the two Diodon models for Rumble Slam and Bait and Switch.
Nice.
And what about yourself?
Well, I've actually been able to get a little bit more painting done. I have been doing two members of my Craggy Bottom Goats. I've been doing Brutus Headstrong and Tashir Marbler. With
Nice.
Brutus Headstrong, I sent you a picture the other day about, and if anyone is on the Half Tilt unofficial fan page on Facebook, will have seen that my Brutus Headstrong, I've gone for I tried to do a bit of Erla St Andrew tartan on his kilt and his
That looks so good.
and his tam o'shanter, which I'm actually very pleased with how that's been turning out. And I've just got the colours down on the goat, so we'll see how that goes. And Tashir Marbler again.
Tartan's a right bugger to paint. Like, I've done it on weirdly enough tartan, and yeah, like, you've done a really good job on that one.
Well, I mean, funnily enough, actually, it was the video you put up about doing with the shields and the heraldry and things like that. Initially, I wasn't gonna go for tartan on it, but then I thought, when I saw the model when I was painting, I did the base colour of blue, and I thought there's a lot of space there, and I just feel just doing a solid blue would be quite boring.
Yeah,
So then I thought, do you know what? Yeah, I'd just say the video you put up sort of inspired me to go, do you know what? I'll bang some tartan on that. And I'm glad I did, honestly, because it's like I think it's really, really sort of pushed that model into a sort of in another direction. But no, I'm really quite pleased
yeah,
about that.
it looks really good, and that model's just like it's begging for something like that. Does the card art have them in a tartan?
No, the
Yeah, I've
card
not
art.
got the card to hand.
No, he's just got like on the card art. It's just solid blue. That's what I mean. I just thought when I was painting it, and I thought, do you know what? There was just a lot of space there that I could have used, and I thought it would look really. I think tartan would look really nice. But yeah, just so I've got some, and then after I've just got some base colours on the goat. Again, Tashir Marbler's just got his base colours on at the minute. I haven't done anything else. The only thing I've found with Tashir Marbler that on the card art you can't really see what's on his shield. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put on that. I'm thinking I might just try and freehand paint like a chicken drumstick. Or I don't know, like maybe like some cutlery. I don't know. Or I might just try, or something. I'll think of something. Either that, because he's got the because he looks very American. I might try and do some like stars and stripes maybe in the shield. I think would look quite nice. I did that on my ogre flattener quite a long time ago. Made him look like Butterbean, which I thought worked out quite nicely. But yeah, it's all coming along. Other than that, I've not really been a lot of painting going on.
There's some shields that I want to do some like more heraldry on, like putting a design onto it as well. I don't know which ones to do it on though, because I kind of want to have like a cat put on one, of course, and but really none of them really stand out as who would have a cat on it. But I want to do some ones where like the heraldry has more of a like like a coat of arms sort of look to it.
Well, yeah, you
So
could
where
have.
you've got like the griffin rampant and things like
Yeah,
that,
that's
or
what
the
I mean. You could
lion
have a
rampant.
cat.
Yeah, but it's just trying to think which one would it look good on, because I mean, is it the goats or is it the craggy bottom pigs with the shields where they've kind of got like kind of puts you in the mind like a Roman shield where it's got that kind of big like ball in the
Yeah,
center
it's
of
the
it.
pig guys. The goat riders. So the only ones who've got shields for the goat riders are the leader, and they're kind of like round shields. One of them's got like a little square shield like that, but I think it might be the pigs. That the shields are a bit bigger.
Mm.
Bit of a mishmash, I think. The goat riders. There's not a lot of, you know. When I say cohesion,
But between them.
yeah, they're just a bit of a mishmash. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I've not
I'm
really
quite
been painting a lot.
I'm quite looking forward to doing the goblins. I've got kind of ideas for that because obviously they're going to be green skin, but I want to do a lot of like oranges and yellows on the clothing and stuff. I give them a dirty uniform, but
Nice.
it's like bright colours on it.
Yeah, Dad did the Wolf Riders. They is done look really nice. He likes using reds and blacks. He was always a big fan of night goblins. So, I mean, Dad tends to stay quite close to the card art, and I did the same. But the only one I differed on was Brutus Headstrong, just because I think he looks a lot better with the tartan on his kilt than not having it. And I mean, plus any character I have that's wearing a kilt, it will get tartan on it. Like with the hair, the last
Just
hair.
having a look at I'm just having a look at some goblins, and it's like the Bad Moon orc tribe from 40k and the Gloomspike Gits
Mm.
in Age of Sigmar. Like they're very like bright colours, really really eye catching, and I think that would look pretty cool for jousting.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, I mean, other than that, not really been doing a lot of painting. I've been just trying to get through the old goblin, not the old goblins, the goat riders. My Ninja Turtles, I need just got to paint the weapons on them, and they're done. I sort of pick up on them whenever.
They're finally holding.
Yeah, I just changed glue, and it seems to have worked. Went to Loctite. That seems to be working quite well.
Nice. I was had to buy a new thing of Gorilla Glue because the one I had, the lid had welded itself to the spout on it, and I couldn't get it. I took some pliers to try and just give us a bit more leverage to like twist it out, and it it rived the actual nozzle out of it, but also pulled off the part of the bottle neck.
Ah, right.
So I was like, oh, that's not ideal. That's not going to go back together unless I super glue it. But then I'll never get it back open. And so I ended up just buying a new bigger bottle. Just got to be more careful with the glue, really.
Sometimes it's the best way, to be honest.
I'd had that glue for a while, so I guess it's nice to freshen it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But segue.
It's hard to segue into what we're talking about. Chris, have you been paying attention? Have you been watching the Paris 2024 Olympics?
No. Watched a little bit of it. The kayak cross was pretty cool, and the skateboard. But yeah, originally we were going to do this one 2 weeks ago, but with Half Tilt being announced, it was like we've got to get the first video of that, and
Definitely.
yeah. So and that was a really good learning curve. It didn't go up onto Spotify, so if you're listening to this on Spotify and you're wondering why it went from episode 11 to 13, it's because episode 12 is very visual, and I mean, more people are watching on YouTube or listening to it on YouTube, so the handful of people on Spotify they're probably also watching on YouTube as well, to be fair. But yeah, if you're listening to it, that's why. But yeah, I don't really follow many sports. I like my wrestling. That's about it, really. I used to skateboard when I was a teen and in my 20s. And that's why I still watch the skateboarding on the Olympics, because that's just always good. It's like, oh, I wish I could have done that. But I've not followed ice hockey for about 8 years now. When I lived down in Leeds, I'd nip over to Sheffield and see the Steelers occasionally. Still got my Steelers jersey. But yeah, I really like the Winter Olympics. I like to watch the snowboarding, the ice hockey with that, and the biathlon, where it's like the cross country skiing and the shooting.
Yeah,
I really enjoy watching that.
I quite enjoy watching the curling. It's like ice bowling. And the bobsled.
It's like
You gotta
listening
like the
them
bobsled.
shout at each other. Skeleton luge, that's a good one, because it's just like they're about 5 millimeters off the floor and there's blades. It's just like, that's terrifying.
Funnily enough, actually, there's a gentleman who I'm quite friendly with. I see him at the events all the time. He helps out with TT Combat as well. You might be recognise him. Is a fella called Mark McKenzie. He does a lot of speed skating.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a GB at some point.
Cool.
So yeah, he does a lot of speed skating. So if you Mark, if you're listening,
Go on, Mark.
yeah, he's speed used to do his old speed skating. Did Mark? Just throwing that in there, a little bit of.
Ah, that's awesome. I didn't realise that. Sports and tabletop games and board games. I mean, obviously we've got Rumble Slam for your wrestling. American football fans, they've got a few choices. They've got Blood Bowl from GW and Guild Bowl from Steamforged Games, which are like, they're both kind of fantasy setting. I mean, Guild Ball, it's that kind of like fantasy-ish, kind of more steampunky sort of feel to it. And then Mantic's got Dread Ball, which is a sci-fi one. Which has some nice models on that.
Although, just to clarify, Steamforged Games no longer make Guild Ball. Just throwing that in there.
Oh, they're not.
No,
No, are they?
yeah, I'll talk about it a bit later, but I just mention it now. They don't make it anymore. But that's more your.
I know on the website they've got STLs and stuff for it.
Yeah, they still sell all the
realise.
STLs. They don't make the minis anymore.
Ah, right. I didn't realise that.
No, it's something to do with the competitive scene just took over, and they didn't see the point in making new models because there was just meta, and then people had a way of playing, and the new models just didn't fit in with that, and they just didn't see the point in making anymore.
That's a shame. It kind of the competitive all kind of killed the game.
But
It's almost like that sort of thing's happening to Warhammer, but less said about that the better. Don't want to get
they get in trouble.
don't want to get people angry. Yeah, I like to try and keep things kind of positive towards Games Workshop, because if it wasn't for them, the hobby would be very different.
Oh, very much
And
so.
not necessarily not necessarily fantasy wrestling. It would be Napoleonics, and I just don't have an interest in that. But so for all of their faults, there is a lot of love for GW from me as well.
But sport games.
Yes, back on topic.
Back on top, sport games. But no, as Chris said, you know, so you've got Guild Ball, which is more like your fantasy, what we would call football. Americans, any American out there, soccer. Yeah. And yeah, your NFL.
Is Guild Ball football?
Yeah, football.
I thought it was American football.
It's a weird one. It's like it's kind of yeah,
like Gaelic football sort of thing, where
sort
you're
of
kicking
thing.
the ball, but you're also picking it up.
Yeah.
I used to live in a flat share with an Irish guy, and he loved Gaelic football, so that's how I know about that.
Yeah. Then you got your Blood Bowl for your NFL fans. But yeah, I mean, other than that,
Dread Balls NFL.
yeah. So your fantasy or your sci-fi. Sorry, your sci-fi.
Your sci-fi one,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, that's the main big ones I think everyone thinks of when I say to you sport fantasy or sport tabletop games. They're the big ones that stick out, especially from a miniatures point of view.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's plenty out there, and I'm sure Chris is going to talk about some. And we're not talking about just miniature games. We're talking about board games, potentially other sort of games and things like that.
Yeah. Some of the ones I'm going to mention probably fall into more toys. But it's like, especially when it comes to like motor racing and things like that, that's definitely fallen into the toys. But it falls into hobby as well for when people really get into it. There's some videos, I'll put them in links. I don't know if you've ever went down the rabbit hole of like scale extric hobby.
Yeah.
There are some amazing videos on YouTube, and like people have recreated like Silverstone and like Monaco Grand Prix like tracks and things to like a ridiculous degree. I can't remember if it's Silverstone or if it's one of the German tracks.
Oh, the Nürburgring.
But there's like an old section. There's an old section of track which is no longer used, but it's still there, just behind a tree line, and it's like a really high bank. And they've even put that into the setup, and it's like your cars will never go on it, and it's just this bit of track that they've modelled to be like overgrown with some like weeds coming through it, and it's just like that's insanely good. And then you've got like your pit stops, and they've got like the garages for that, and it's just absolutely mad.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but for the sorry, Karen.
I said, as from a hobby point of view, it is fantastic. From a scenery building point of view, and also when you consider, because obviously in Scale Electrics as well, and it's because they're not just using like pre-made Scale Electrics track, they're making their own Scale Electrics tracks as well, like with the electrics and everything like that, and it's so impressive. Because I think I saw one of the videos like that, and it was the Monaco Grand Prix circuit, and it was just fantastic.
It's mad, and like I mean, Scale Electric themselves. So they're a 1 to 32 scale slot track race car, and I mean, one of my brothers had Scale Electrics when we were growing up. Had like the I think he had the Super Sierras, the Mighty Metros. There was some F1s, some motorcycle sidecars, a lot of different track pieces, like a lap counter, and like you put like an oil into it, and it would like on the starting grid, and it would like spit up oil, like the revving up and stuff. Spit up oil, spit up smoke. There was like the Dunlop Bridge, crowd stands, control tower, just loads of cool stuff. And Scale Electric still produces those bits as well. But when I was having a look at what was on Scale Electric's website, there's like you can upgrade your vehicles from the old analog sets, where it's just like you've got one car on the track, like on each rail of the track, to digital, and that allows multiple cars to race over the two tracks, and that's absolutely crazy. It's like, I remember where we put like two cars onto the same track by mistake. Like one's come off the track and we put it on, and it's like you've went over the chicane, not the chicane, like the cross, like the crossover, and you've put it on the right side, which is now the left track, and as soon as you put it, like make the connection with it, it just shoots off because the other one's already got the trigger down, and it's like having it done digitally. Just it's absolutely mad. And
I mean, I've had a go at it. I took my son for his 10th birthday to Silverstone because it's not too far away. Silverstone's not too far away from me. It's about an hour away.
Not bad.
And they had a Scalextrics event on, so like they had a Silverstone replica in Scalextrics, like fully detailed, and they had the digital stuff. So yeah, there was like 8 of us racing on these 2 tracks, and the way it works is that on the controller's wireless, which blew my mind. Because again, I'm like you, mate.
That wasn't the set we had.
No, when we were there, you had the wire in. You couldn't go too far away, and it had that smell. You know what I'm on about?
Yeah.
The smell.
The motor, they're just whirring through, and it's like, yeah, it's heating up the plastic.
But anyway, so we did it, and then the way it works is like, and I'm sorry if I'm teaching anyone to suck eggs here. I'm just explaining this to Chris now. We're having a moment. So you have the controller, and then it's got so you've got the trigger, which is to make it go, obviously. And what it's got is on the side, it's got a button. So various points along the track, it will allow you to switch tracks so you can overtake.
Ah, that's pretty cool.
So obviously, if you're behind someone and you like, I want to overtake, you push it, and then it will switch you at the next available place. So it's all run on like its app, and it's all digital. I mean, not to brag or to toot my own trumpet, but I did get to the top of the leaderboard with my time, and I did win. I wasn't holding anything back, even though I was racing with my son. Nothing was held back. I had a point.
They've got to learn to lose.
Oh, I had a point to prove as well. So he goes, this guy was like, "Oh, you ever played with Scalextrics before?" And I was like, "Listen, son," because it was this young kid. He must have been like about 17, 18.
I was struggling to put Scalextric tracks together before you were born.
Yeah, I've got Scalextrics cars older than you, son. I'm no stranger to Scalextrics, my man.
Yeah.
Oh, but it was so good. And they had like the history of Scalextrics, and it was just really, really good. But yeah, no, it's all digital now, and yeah, you can. I think there's ways you can upgrade cars that were analog to digital, and I think I don't know how.
The digital ones, yeah, they've got the stuff on the website. I'm assuming it's the like you're putting like the receiver into it, and maybe it's taking off the old bristle sort of connector they had.
I don't know. It's all magic.
Into it because I was kind of blown away by all the wizardry it's got.
Oh, it's magic, mate. It's absolute witchcraft.
You ever seen Carrera?
Yeah, funny enough, actually, I've got. So I bought my son a Carrera set for his first sort of Scalextrics. It was Mickey and the Roadster Racers. So you had Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, because he was really into that when he was a kid. And yeah, it's like my first Carrera. So you could get that, or Mickey and the Roadster Racers, or Mario and Luigi, which he's also got because he loves Mario Kart. So yeah, he's got those ones. And I think he's got a James Bond Carrera Go set. No, and he's got a Cars one. Disney's Cars.
Yeah, all right.
So yeah, there's a lot of. No, is it? No, was that? No, that was Micro Scalextrics, not Big Scale, not Carrera.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, I know what Carrera is, and Carrera's the same principle, but their trigger's like a. that sort of trigger rather than
Yeah, it's like a top thumb thumb trigger rather than like a pistol grip.
The good thing about the Carrera
It's
Ghost, my first Carrera ones, are just quickly. You didn't have to plug them into the mains. They were powered by 4D batteries.
Oh, cool.
So you could take them anywhere. It was great.
That's pretty good, that.
But it was good for kids because obviously you wouldn't have to worry about. Yeah, it was nice. But yeah, I'm aware of Carrera.
I see they do a range of things for kids, and they do like remote control cars as well. So some of them targeted at youngins as well.
Yeah, he's got a Yoshi on a quad bike and there's a remote control car.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
that's cool. They do different scales. So they do a 132 scale, like same scale as Scale Electric. But they do a 124 and a 143 scale.
Yeah.
And to go with that, they do different scale tracks. So the 124 and the 132s go on 124 tracks. And the 143 goes on the 143 track. So the scale of track is different completely to the Scale Electric track. But the sum of the cars are the same scale as them. Which I think is quite interesting. So it means you can't mix and match tracks.
You can. Well, you can't mix the tracks, but I have it on good authority. There's a model shop in Brackley, which is ironically near Silverstone. There's a model shop in Brackley, and the guy was telling me that if you can use the 132's Carrera on Scale Electrics, you just have to change the guidey thing.
Yes, like the slot.
Yeah,
like the slot car thing.
But yeah, I believe you can use the 132 Carreras on Scale Electrics, but yeah, I think you just have to do a slight modification.
That's pretty cool.
But don't take my word for that, anyone listening.
Their cars are really nice modelled as well. I get the feeling that Carrera, like the adult targeted stuff, is like probably like your high end car collector sort of thing. And they do like gimmick vehicles like the race safety car, which I laughed when I saw that because it's like when you're playing with Scale Electric and Carrera, obviously, because that's what we're on. Who has the safety car? Your cars come off the track, so you put the safety car on to slow the other one down. Fantastic.
I imagine that's what like proper Scale Electrics nerds do.
Oh, definitely. Got to.
I tell you what,
I'd be disappointed if they didn't.
My cousin used to have the Batman and the Joker Scale Electric set.
I think they still make that.
Yeah, and it was the one with the 19. I think it was the original Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson as the Joker, the first Batman they made with Tim Burton. Yeah, the Batmobile and the Joker car from that. That's the set he's got. And the Batmobile on that was so good. It never came off the track because it had quite a strong enough magnet. You could basically full wang it, and it would just never come off the track.
That's cool.
It looks
they do a cool one where it's like Battle of the 80s, and it's a DeLorean versus
and Knight Rider. Yeah.
Yeah.
My local game store, the store game before they moved into Sports Direct, they used to have a set of the Battle of the 80s. It was so good.
That's class.
I also like the Blues Brothers car. I used to like that.
I saw that, the old Bluesmobile.
And I'm pretty confident, like, they did a Smokey and the Bandit one. Like,
I'd imagine they would.
Yeah, like, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's one of those old style, like, American police cars on there I saw.
Yeah.
I think you can get the A-Team van as well.
Oh, and you get I think you got Mr. Bean's car as well, and there's all sorts.
Yes, there's the Mini.
Del Boy's Capri, I think you can get. Um, I used to have. I've still got it. Like it's in mum and dad's loft. Got It was. Oh Christ, what was it? Um, it was one of the NASCARs, but it was the M&M NASCAR,
Hmm.
and I got that, and that's one of my favourite ones to use. But yeah, it was really good. It was really good. I haven't played Scalextrics in years. I might need to now.
Well, like I say, I've been going down like a little bit of a rabbit hole. I've got
Yeah,
no intention of buying any.
not
I've
yet.
told myself that from the start. I've got no intention of it. I really like the like that model inside. It's like with train sets.
Mm,
Like I've got no intention of getting a train set, but I love watching like people who have made just ridiculously big setups. And was it Luke Towan? He does really good ones.
yeah,
You've probably seen him on on Facebook. His videos tend to do the rounds. Was it BCR?
yeah.
Is it BCR or BI? Yeah, it's like is it like Battle Creek Railway or something like that. He does really nice stuff.
I always said if I had the room and I had a garden big enough, I'd have one of those ones going around my garden. I just don't have the time or money.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, again, modelled with. So my dad does a little bit of model railway. He does N gauge. No,
Mm.
yeah, N gauge. Um, and he's got a setup that he was doing, and he's got one up in the loft that he's been doing for years. He's not really done a lot recently because he's been more into miniature painting, got back into wargaming a lot. And again, it's a hobby me and him share. I don't really take much of an interest in model trains. Me nephews do, um, but that's why he does that. But yeah, the modelling that goes into that is just absolutely phenomenal. And it's when you go to like I was down in Torquay a couple of weeks ago, and I went to the South Devon Steam Railway, and they have a scale model of the route that the train takes,
Oh, cool.
and it's so good. And again, I can really appreciate miniature or train railway scenery enthusiasts. I can really respect it because they're not that too
Mm.
far removed from us, like for the miniature painters, you know, but they're more into the scenery side of it rather than miniatures because a lot of
Yeah.
their people that they have in those sets generally come pre-painted. But there's loads out there, and I've seen people who've like 3D print stuff, and there is a lot of
Hmm.
overlap in our hobbies, and it's it'd be unfair to say that we're not too far removed. There's a big
Yeah.
overlap.
There's a lot of their videos as well for their scenery and stuff.
Mm,
A lot of crossover for what we do as well, and it's one of them things where I think if you were wanting to make a game board, you'd want to be taking aspects of different hobbies for it
mm,
to make the best thing, because obviously there's a whole range of products for railway modelers, for example, um, that like your miniature wargamers can make use of. There's like a rust powder that I had. The activators knackered now, so I just had to get rid of everything else. I just kind of throw things away. But so it's like little like iron powder, and you get a glue that you mix it in with. You put it on stuff, and once that dries, you use an activating liquid to put it over, and it's made for like miniature railway enthusiasts, but it gives you really good actual rust. So it's like, yeah, I'll get some of that. I've used it on different bits of scenery. It so like things like that, I wouldn't have known about stuff like that without like looking at like your model railway stuff.
Mm. But back to sport.
Yes, yes. Um,
Back to sports.
I, and and I'm going to go to board games. For this one, so I've got two more for cars, and then I'll get through these ones, and then I'll pass it over to you for your one. But there's a game called Heat: Pedal to the Metal, and it's like a board game racer, very like push your luck game, where you're increasing and you're decreasing your speed as you move, and the faster you're going, the harder the tight turns will be for you.
Mm.
So you end up risking spinning out and losing ground, or you can pull back your speed and possibly maintain your position, but you're not going to be making distance between the rest of the pack. And I've only seen it played, um, like on YouTube, and it looks like a really good game to play. And I wouldn't mind getting my hands on it at some point.
It doesn't sound too far removed from Formula D.
Yes, I think that's a similar. So I think Formula D is a little bit more like involved, because
Yeah,
there's like a gear shift card you've got on that or something.
yeah. So basically, I've got Formula D and I've played it, and it's basically what it is every gear that you go up, you use a different dice. So you start off in first gear, you use like a D4, then it goes up to D6, D8, D10, D12, D20, and then you basically go up. You go up a gear, and then you roll the dice to that's how many spaces you'll move with that dice. But yeah, when you come to like turns, and braking, when you got to get a brake or change down gears and stuff like that, you have like gearbox stamina, and you got like a peg that moves along, and if you gets right down to zero, you just wreck. So you have to be careful when you're like decelerating, how much you're accelerating by, decelerating, braking into corners. And yeah, you can only take corners, and it requires you to certain corners. It basically says that you have to stop a certain amount of times. Obviously, like, so you say you'd be like in one, like if there's like a chicane, it will say, oh, you need to be. It takes 3 moves, so you have to have 3 moves a minimum in that corner to suggest that you've slowed down and taken the corner and then go off again. But yeah, same principle. Like you go up or down gears to roll bigger dice or smaller dice to get around the course. It's I say when you were talking about that Heat pedal to the metal, it did sound very similar to Formula D.
I think Heat's kind of like maybe a kind of a little bit stripped back from Formula D, but like I say, I've only seen that one played on YouTube, and it looks really good.
Yeah.
But another one that looks awesome is Pitch Car. So it's a dexterity based one. So you're not rolling dice, for it, but you're flicking the cars along. So the cars are basically little tokens that
Okay.
you're flicking along the track, and if your car comes off the track, it goes back to where it started when you flicked it, and you can put jumps into your track, and you're just kind of just building the track like new each race, and so like each one's going to be a different track that you're racing on,
Nice.
and it's another one where you can kind of either try and skip over corners, but risk your car coming off the track and stopping off the track, because if it stops off the track, it's crashed. And that'll but you could be skipping a bunch of like hard corners, or skipping a huge portion of the track, but it's like that risk reward to it. Or you could just kind of small flicks across, and you kind of moving around a corner, like a bit of a chicane, a little bit more cautious, but safer. And I don't know, it looks like a really fun, daft game to play. Get a bunch of people in, a couple of cans, get a pizza, and just sit down with that. Just put it in the living room and just go mad with it. It looks like a really fun one. And there's pictures online where people have modified it to be Mario Kart. So they've got like the banana peels and power ups and stuff. So like a very user friendly type of game where it's like user friendly and mod friendly.
I mean, yeah, I think when you're talking about that, it is pretty funny.
Mhm.
I mean, well, something similar to that actually. Funny enough, I was going to talk about. I thought it's a nice little segue. What you were talking about, flicking things. There's a game called Table Golf Association, or TGA, and basically same principle. So you make if you Google it now, Chris, you'll see what I mean. So Table Golf Association is like little hexagons of different things, and you make a golf course. And the ball is like a marble wrapped in like a plastic sort of puck, so it doesn't. So it sort of slides along, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you flick it down the golf course, and the whole card has obviously got like a hole in it, so the marble sits in it. And yeah, again, that's very sounds like what you were saying about pitch car. And I wouldn't even
Yes, I'm just having a look at it now.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's made by the same people. But yeah, so you flick. It's like flick golf. Yeah, and you got bunkers, fairways, like water hazards, things like that, and
Mm.
it is. I played it at. I played a couple goes at the. Where was it? Oh, the board games live thing in Manchester a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I played it there because that's more like board games rather than miniature games. But yeah, played that there a couple of games of that, and it is really fun. Again, have a couple cans, get some food on, just flicking playing golf, and it is quite funny. Because you can
Yeah, it looks
overdo
pretty
it.
good. I'm just having a look. Just having a look now. It's like low complexity,
Yeah,
fast gameplay, endless ideas for easier, challenging courses.
yeah. So I say it's the only reason I sort of said that then is because you meant because about flicking, and I was like it was one of the games I was going to talk about.
That looks pretty cool.
That it is. I haven't bought it, but it's just like I have played it, and it is very fun. That's
Mm.
it. It's just golf. But without the need to buy clubs, go outside.
And horrible jumpers.
I mean, you could still put the jumper on.
Well, yeah, you could have have a themed night. Everyone comes round in the best golf attire. The clubhouse won't let them in otherwise.
Hole in one on the eight. A hole in one. You have to buy a round. But yeah, I mean, it's just a fun little game, and it's like, and I like because it's got that replayability. You know, because you're making your own golf courses. It's not a set board piece. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's another good thing as well about having that replayability. But yeah. Any more motor racing themed games, Chris? Or is that it?
No, I've got some like more regular sport ones, but I'll let you let you get your suggestions out before I put it onto this one.
So a couple of ones I wanted to talk about, except Finger Golf Association. Oh, my notes app's gone. Other than Finger Golf Association, a couple of things. One of them is so I don't quite know. You can still buy the rules for this, but miniatures are going to be a lot harder to come by. So I'm going to sort of talk about it and then make some recommendations afterwards. So years ago, my dad got a game set of rules, and he got some of these figures for a game called Gridiron Heroes. Now, anyone familiar with American football, that's basically would understand what gridirons are. It was a set of rules for a 28mm American football tabletop game, like full team. You can still buy the rules, and I'm pretty confident you can also find them online for free as a PDF. In fact, just having a quick search, I've already found it. And basically, Gridiron Heroes it's a scale American football. It's more. It's not so much a board game. It's a little bit more. Okay, it's unfair to say it's more comprehensive than Blood Bowl, because Blood Bowl you have to take into account of like strength and this, but it's all gridded, and that's how movement works. It's all gridded and stuff like that. Whereas Gridiron Heroes is a little bit more free roam, so there's no gridding, just played on a field, like the field it's got. It's just, like, again, my dad's got the scale field. He painted it himself it's all to scale. And the rules, it's all, I think it's like D6 rules, so it's nothing exceptional. You don't need to like special dice to play. It's got a chart in the rule. Everything's in the rule book about building teams, like things like that, and then you just play out your NFL games. Now, again,
so it's like fantasy, like American fantasy football taken to the extreme.
So basically, it is an American football miniatures game. That's it. It's not even like fantasy. It's these are like human players from real teams. You can make up your own team. It's completely up to you. But a lot of people so my dad has 2 teams that were fully painted and 1 more team that he could have painted. He had the Washington Redskins, which are now the Washington Commanders. Everyone remembers the big thing. And the other team he had was the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think he had enough minis left for another team, and he had like quarterbacks from like other teams. But yeah, it is. So the first sort of turn,
the Tippy Club touchdowns.
So the first turn in Gridiron Heroes is a little bit more free reign. It's very reactive. Like, I'll do something, you'll do something. It's things will happen as things happen, and then after the initial snap, then it's turn based. So, I don't know if you know much about American football, Chris.
Absolutely nothing.
So when they say "hut," that's when the ball goes back. So it's snapped. It's what they call the snap. When that happens in Gridiron Heroes, say it's very, this is happening, what's this person doing, a lot of things happen at once in that first turn. But say then after that, it then starts to sort of narrow out, because you become more focused on the ball rather than everything else that's happening. So for example, if I've thrown the ball and one of my receivers has got it, everything else that's happened after that is no longer relevant. So it might seem like it takes a long time to play, but you find it's just that first sort of snap, and then very busy, and then it sort of then goes to a point, basically. Now, my recommendation, what I was going to make out was this, because it's so hard to find the figures that were originally made for this game, 28mm American football figures. They were in metal as well. Says a lot. I looked on eBay to get a full team of players and a couple of the accessories and stuff like that. Someone was selling them for £100, right?
Oof.
Yeah,
For a team.
for a team. With like the goalposts, the chain gang. So the chain gang in American football is how they measure first downs. So it's a 10 yard.
Right.
It's a 10 yard moat. So they've got like two posts that have got a 10 yard chain between them. So they know you get another go.
Right.
Anyway, so my recommendation would be this. There's plenty of people out there, plenty of companies. Dice Heads are a good example of this, who make fantasy American football teams, whether it be vampires, anthropomorphic bunnies, undead. You could use this rule set, scale it up, or you want to get those miniatures printed out in 28mm, do it that way. You could use these rule sets in a fantasy setting. That's just my recommendation. If you kind of want a more realistic American football experience playing, rather than like Blood Bowl or Dread Bowl, and you want a more realistic American football feel, use this rule set, but then apply it to a fantasy setting if that's what you want to do. So that's one game. That's Gridiron Heroes.
And then you could buy an MDF scenery kit for £74 and create a stadium to go around your pitch. And I don't know, maybe TT Combat would make that.
Oh, that sounds like something they would do. But yeah, so the book's called Gridiron Heroes, Rules for American Football, and it's written by K.J. Gilliver. So there you go for that one. Another game, sport game, I do follow. I'm not a sporty person, but I do I am quite interested in like various sports. And another one was a roller derby game. So if anyone's not heard of roller derby, it's a predominantly female sport. And it's done on roller skates, and it's basically they go round in a circle, and they're trying to get a player called a jammer to get through the whole pack of roller derby skaters to score points, and it's the amount of laps that they can do is how many points they'll score. And the idea of your team, your blockers, are to stop the opponent's jammer getting through to score points. And this game is called Impact City Roller Derby. And again, it's the initial board game is token based, but there are places where you can buy figures for it to make it a little bit more miniature-y. But other than that, it's a very basic system. You'll have the rings all on a board. There's skater profiles on cards, and obviously it's all it's a multiple dice game. So obviously, the faster you're going, the bigger dice you get to use, more spaces you travel. But obviously, the faster you're going, certain turns become more difficult because you're going at speed. It's very much like racing, but like on a roller derby point of view. It was on Kickstarter a few years ago. It is now in production, so you don't have to worry about that. But otherwise, yeah, it's just a nice little board game, especially if you're into roller derby. I'd like to say it's a bit of a niche sport, but I think that's an unfair statement. But people who know about it, if that makes sense.
I think I've only really heard of it through like the Harley Quinn comics. Like Harley Quinn would do roller derby, and that was just from when me and one of my brothers had the comic shop.
Funnily enough, actually, there was You know, Night Models do that Batman DC miniatures game.
Mm-hmm.
There was this, I think it was, don't know if it was limited edition or if it was a special one where the Harley Quinn roller derby team. So there was a whole.
Did she have the big hammer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think you can buy that set of like roller derby Harley Quinn gang. But yeah, just throwing that out there. But yeah, I mean, I've not played it, but I've seen it played, and I thought it was just worth mentioning, especially because we're talking about like sport games. I mean, the issue we do have with, I find, and I'm just sort of going to say this, with sport transferring over to the board game, it is always going to be hard to replicate the sort of fast-pacedness of sport in a miniatures game, because obviously it's very turn-based and it's hard to keep that flow of a sport. I've spoke about this one before, and again, he's currently got it on a tabletop simulator to sort of test the play of the game, and it's that Slapshot Showdown I told you about, the ice hockey game.
The ice hockey one, yeah.
Again, that's still coming to Kickstarter. I don't know when it's going to happen, but again, the way that they've set it out, it does look like that they are going to sort of capture the sort of speed and essence of ice hockey, but they're doing it in like, I think it's like smaller teams, like 3-on-3 rather than like 6-on-6.
Yeah.
So obviously to keep it from keep the pace of it up on a board game or a tabletop miniatures game. But I think other than that, I think a lot of the other sort of sport games that you get, it tends to be like racing games.
Yeah.
Either motor racing, horse racing. A board game I was going to talk about is a board game called Circus Maximus, which is obviously about chariot racing. Again, same sort of principle. Just a basic dice throws, random things happen, there's cards and such. But it is hard to sort of move away from, you know, that racing thing, because it's just quite an easy thing to do. But it's a shame because there are a lot of sports that I don't really think are massively represented in tabletop form. I mean, there used to be a game, I don't know if it still is around today, something called like Nothing But Net, which is like a basketball one, like a fantasy basketball.
Yeah. I've not heard of that.
Yeah, it was. I'll see if I can find the website. Yeah, it's called Nothing But Net. There was figures for it. Yeah, it was. Impact Miniatures was the company that produced it, and they don't think they even make the miniatures anymore. But you can still buy STLs and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at it on Board Game Geek.
Like one of the characters was like a rabbit basketball player. Yeah, and that's what I mean. It was. I never really saw much of it, and I think it was one of those things that might have come out briefly and then just never. But it sounds like when you're reading it, it sounds like it should have been quite a fun game.
Yeah, it's like a hex grid. Just having a look at it, someone's made a board for it, and it's all hex grids. You've got the nets each side,
and that's what I mean. It's it had the potential.
I think you've told me about this game before.
I might have done.
I don't know if it was in an episode or if it was after we had finished recording, because looking at the pictures of the models, we've got like the horse, the pig, sheep, rabbit, and the cow. I'm pretty sure I have seen this before, and I think you have mentioned this to us.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it looked like it was going to be quite a good game, and I think nothing came of it.
It's like a 3-on-3 fantasy basketball game.
And again, I like basketball, and again, trying to capture the fast-pacedness of a sport It's difficult, but achievable if you do it the right way. But yeah, other than that, there's not really, I think as sport games go, you do sometimes get creative, and I know there was one fella who had adapted the rules for Dreadball and made it into ice hockey and called it Dread Puck, and then got some metal figures of like dwarves and orcs in ice hockey gear, which I thought looked really cool. But yeah, it was. It'd be interesting to see how Slapshot Showdown plays out. I've spoken to the guy who's done it, doing it, and he's assured me that if they're not going to able to send physical stuff to the UK or Europe, he is going to do an STL pledge, which will be nice because I do like ice hockey, and some of the figures that they've brought out or they've done so far look really cool. And I've shown you a couple of those minis.
Yeah, he showed me. They look pretty sweet.
More like horror sort of things at the minute. I just like the idea of like a goblin in ice hockey gear. Like that makes me laugh. But we'll see where he goes with it.
Have him wearing like American football gear because they couldn't get a hold of hockey gear.
Yeah, exactly, stuff like that. Although I imagine an orc would probably not bother with pads. He'd be like, nah, sod it.
Yeah. He's wearing like sheet metal.
He's wearing goblins. He's wearing goblins as pads. That seems like a very orky thing to do. I'll just use a lesser being as pads.
Yeah. And as the hockey stick.
Yeah. Or like a severed leg or something. That seems like a very orky thing. But yeah, I can't wait.
His own severed leg.
I can't wait to see how that's going to go. I mean, it's on TT Simulator right now, so he's just sort of testing the rules and things like that. But I can't wait to see it because when it comes out, because say the minis look really good. Yeah, and I'm just excited to see it. So we'll go how that goes. Speaking of Kickstarter and things that are coming soon, I think it's about time, Chris, that we went into new and shiny.
Yes, and I mean the stuff that I've got marked down for new and shiny is pretty one-sided.
Oh yeah,
we've been excited about it for a while. The last episode was based on it. I was having a look at my my YouTube uploads, and 6 of my last 9 videos are basically half tilt.
Hey, it's a good game.
Yeah. It releases well, for us it releases tomorrow. Friday the 23rd of August. So by the time this goes live, it'll already be on shelves. Available
and post for pre-orders.
In the post, or it'll have already arrived. Hopefully for a bunch of people. Because I know when I've ordered stuff that's pre-order, it would have arrived, I think, on the Thursday. Just the way post works out, which is nice. But that's available from TT Combat or any store that stocks TT Combat stuff.
Any good retailer that sells TT Combat.
Any retailer that's worth its salt. Then, I mean, like I said, the last episode of the podcast is a video episode, which is a half tilt let's play where we both do a slightly stripped down version of half tilt. The basic rules are there. We just didn't use the ploy cards just so we could both get used to the rules. Mainly me. I think that was my second game because we played one. Was it like the day before or?
Yeah, we did it like a dry run. Yeah, and we played through it.
Undefeated.
Yeah, I mean I've played it a couple times because obviously I was demoing it at the UK Games Expo, and then I played a couple of games with my dad, and then a couple of games with my daughter. And that says something. My daughter's 9, and she got the rules pretty quickly, and she was having good fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very nice, simple rule set. Really easy to pair to pick up and play.
I mean, we got through it in about 40 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't take much longer than a game of Rumble Slam, really, does it?
If anything, I think it took less time than Rumble Slam.
I'm just gonna have a look, see how long obviously it's an edited down version of it. Although I don't think I really I didn't cut anything gameplay wise out. It's just kind of where we were. It was double checking a rule, or just general chatting in the middle of playing things and realizing things had stopped recording and stuff. But 44 minutes, 44 seconds. That includes a couple of minutes of intro and talking about what we're doing, who we've got, things like that. So yeah, you're looking about 40 minutes for a game, a 7 renown game,
which is a good starting point.
Yeah. 3. It worked out as 3 models each, 4 renown, 2 3 renown. What? No.
3
3 renown and 2 2s. It's getting late. I'm tired.
But yeah,
Maths.
I mean, yeah, it was good fun. Hopefully, we'll be doing a few more
really enjoyed
in the future after we've got the teething problems of audio sorted.
Yes. Yeah, this is I think we should have it sorted now. And I mean, that episode didn't work out how I wanted it to work out, like how I had it kind of pictured in my head, but that kind of came down to audio and visual issues that where it's just get it up, get it done. But there's things that I'm kind of batting around in my head for the next one, which I'm thinking even more how I can get it done, and I think I can. It puts my animation degree to use, and I'm getting pretty excited about it, to be fair. So it's very likely I'll at least have something to show for that. Then I've done a tutorial video for painting heraldry, checkerboard and quartering, and just showing how checkerboard, like the checkerboard shield on Sir Rooksborough, doesn't need to be that daunting, because you're basically just doing the quartering, which is like a nice simple way to make your shields look pretty cool. And obviously you're quartering the shield, and then to do a checkerboard, you're just quartering each of those quarters again. There, I've spoiled it for you. Still check out the video, but it's
a very informative
and
video.
It adds a lot. Yeah, it adds a lot to your models as well, rather than just having a blank shield. I want to do some more freehand ones as well. The next video I'm going to be doing for it is the lances, to get that kind of spiral going through it. But I want to do some more freehand ones, because I mean, freehanding at first it's like it's scary. It's like, am I going to be able to do it? Is it going to ruin the model? But I mean, you very quickly get into the swing of it, and it's quite fun to do. You can even do lettering and stuff with it, just using squares. I did that on the Mike Lavicle model on the microphone. It's got RS and TC along the sides, and that's all just done with square, like doing a square and then kind of adding a couple of lines.
I've dabbled in a bit of freehand. I did the Assassin's Creed logo on the back of one of my Capodicinas for Carnival. I did some runic letter tattoos on my dwarf Glory Seeker for Rumble Slam. He's got some runic tattoos on his back.
Yeah, I gave my Glory Seeker the tattoo that Seamus has.
Nice.
It was like the Laosha or something like that. Some Irish thing.
But one of my new and shinies, which I'm quite excited for, is keeping it slightly in theme of knights. Is we've seen it teased. Is the Black Knight figure for Rumble Slam. Now, Monty Python fans unite in the sense that it is that Black Knight. He is using his other arm as a club. And yes, it is a Black Knight Rumble Slam figure, and I can't wait to get my hands on the rules. I can't wait to get my hand on the mini. Because I do love the Black Knight from Monty Python. It is one of my favourite Monty Python characters. And I'm just so excited for it. And it's frustrating for me because I become privy to a lot of information about future releases, rules, things like that. But I'm sworn to like a certain level of secrecy. I'm going to have a chat with them guys about it, like see how much I can sort of talk about outside of our TT Combat agents. We have our own Discord where we get to look at new things, but I'm going to see if I can sort of share outwardly some snippets of stuff. But rest assured, TT Combat fans, there is a lot of very, very nice things coming. And I just can't wait to see the models.
One of the pictures they put up on Facebook and on Instagram, where it's got the Black Knight in the ring. I went on a hunt for things. I know they love adding a couple of other teasers in amongst everything, and I noticed they've got one of the new models. It's like a Goblin Manager. They've got her stood up on a balcony. There's a new crowd member who's it looks like kind of like your Sir Flex and things like that, where it's like he's got like the helmet and the bracers on, but he's just like bare chested and just like flexing out, and he's got a shield with cheer written on it. So there's a new crowd member there. Sparkleberry is talking to someone in a tent.
Yeah.
And I don't recognise that model.
Oh, that looks like it looks like a new Centaur.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Like obviously not Calator, but definitely looks like a new sort of Centaur figure.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's someone from the Keep. Because it's
it must be.
got like the pink colour theme through which the Keep has a lot of.
But it's a beautiful sculpt of the Black Knight. Beautiful sculpt.
There's another model that when I put a comment on the picture that Owen from TT Combat, Owen Roberts, said that I missed one. So I went back to look even further, and you can just see one peeking out from round a corner, and it looks possibly like a hobgoblin.
I see.
What in the Knights of the Squared Circle?
The top that there.
Right in the top.
Yeah, I can see him. Yeah, just.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see.
It's another one where there's a little bit of pink on the on his clothes, but you can't really see anything else.
Yeah,
so I guess we're going to be getting another Keep team
some
soon.
Disgusting speculation. I reckon it's going to be one of those booster packs for the Knights of the Squared Circle, if you want to call it that. Because obviously, if you look at other teams, We had the headliners be like a booster team for the Heavy Pounders, Greased Lightning for Runic Thunder. So I reckon it's probably going to be like a booster pack for the Knights of the Squared Circle, and that might be even what the Goblin cheerleader could be. Well, be a part of that.
Yeah,
Might well be.
because when they called her like a manager, I was thinking, are we getting a new expansion with managers for the different casinos
Could well be.
to grant like bonuses or something?
May well be like Corner Crew or stuff like that, or Entourage maybe. Well, but could well be. That's the beauty of disgusting speculation.
Someone on the outside of the ring that if you get too close to the corners, they'll take a swipe at you.
That seems a very orky thing to do, or a goblin thing to do. Because they've never
managers are heels.
But yeah, it would. I think it would be interesting to see, because obviously then you start getting more into that. It starts leaning more into the wrestling side of it and the thematic part of wrestling, which I think is going to be really, really nice. We'll just have to see, honestly. Like, there's not been any mention of things like that on the Discord as of yet, but again, they can also be very tight-lipped about things. Like, we as me, even though I'm in that inner circle of trust, they still like to keep us surprised.
Yeah.
Which is also quite nice, because like they'll let us know certain things. Like, the things they sort of show us like are things that they're not like 100% sure on the rules, and they'll be like, how will this play? And then we'll look at it and be like, this needs to change, that needs to change, then it'd be fine. But if they've already got it signed, sealed, done, then they don't let us know. That it just stays a surprise for us as well, which is still quite nice.
Yeah. So you kind of get the work in progress stuff.
But still, it is great stuff, and it is the stuff that they come out with. And again, we say this every time new models come out from TT, that, you know, they just go strength to strength to strength with their minis. What else? This is not a test from Blackside Studios. They've been doing a bit more models. That's gone to the back room with their thing. That looks like an interesting game. I'll be honest, it's not probably something I'm going to pick up. I might see the odd video here and there, but I just don't think it's going to be something I'm going to pick up. But it still looks really nice. And if you're into that post-apocalyptic stuff, great. Just not for me.
Yeah, I think for like a post-apocalyptic skirmish thing over here, Fallout is really easy for us to get. Modifius has got the UK base, so it's easier for us to get a hold of than Blackside Studios stuff.
It is, which is a shame, because they do make some exquisite minis.
I've got 2 of their games.
I picked up the new Survivors box and the new updated Killers box, because I bought them off a site in the UK that had some in stock.
Yes, Spectre Miniatures.
Yeah, I bought them off Spectre Miniatures, and then I'm hoping to buy the triple feature, because there's a site somewhere that still has a couple of those in stock, so I'm going to pick them up. But other than that, it is like unicorn dust, or like pixie dust, getting stuff like that over here. On the plus side, they do sell STLs, but it's not quite the same, I find.
Yeah.
But such is life, I'm afraid. Other than that, I don't really think there's anything. Oh, my Dungeon Cart Kickstarter turned up the other day.
Oh.
Yeah, I
that one quiet.
Yeah, no, I just completely forgot. I reminded myself, because I was thinking to myself, oh, when was that? No, it was already here. Yeah, I've only opened it up. I've had a quick peek of the rules. I've had a quick look around the box. It is looking like it's going to be a really fun game to play. And yeah, the rules is quite simple. It's very colourful, so I'm quite looking forward to getting that done, and having a game of that with the kids. But other than that, there's not really anything.
Sounds good.
Not really anything sort of that's piqued my interest recently. I mean, I suppose I've just been. I think a lot of that's probably come down to the fact that I'm probably very much trying to get through painting some stuff that I've already got, and I think my brain's just put blinders on, so I'm not looking at anything else.
Yeah, the last couple of Rumble Slam releases I haven't even built because I've got a big backlog of just Rumble Slam in general to get through.
Yeah, same.
And then I've got the half tilt stuff as well.
Yeah, my plan is I'm going to try and get through me half tilt, and then see what happens then. But there is a lot of stuff I need to get through. I think that's probably why I've not been that focused on new things coming out.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to get the crowd stuff I've got sat there, get that done, get the Eternal Legion done, and then I think I'll focus on a bit more of the Rumble Slam models, chip away through a couple of teams of them, maybe a superstar or two, and then do another half-tilt team.
Thanks for joining us on the Tippy Cast, and if you're listening on Spotify, be sure to follow us.
And if you listen to us on YouTube, why not drop us a like and subscribe? And weigh in with your thoughts on what we've mentioned, missed, or something for us to look at for the next episode in the comments below.
And it's a goodbye from him.
And it's a goodbye from me.